Just listening there to Antonio Conte talking about Harry Kane, I don't think you'd expect anything less from Harry, would you? Ultimate professional.
No, that's exactly what he is, Laura. He just wants to play every game. He wants to score every game if he can. And he'll just be concentrating on every match that Tottenham play up until the World Cup comes. He won't be wanting to miss games or worry about injury or, resting himself up. No, he'll be going full steam ahead for Tottenham, no doubt.
How do you see this one going tonight, Harry? Because it's a hard one to call. Because I can see it going either way, or I've sat on the fence and gone for a draw. But you both sides.
Yeah, I would think you might be right. It is a tight one, isn't it? It's Tottenham are in good form. It's interesting this year, isn't it? We've got some teams playing. Tottenham and Arsenal are in great form. Tottenham in great form. And obviously you still got Man City. Who look like the obvious favourites to win the title. But there's a few teams this year. London are teams going well. Chelsea are going well now. So it's going to be an interesting title race. And I do think that tonight, I'm still not sure about Man United. I think they're obviously looking like they're improving a bit. Got one or two new players in. But I still think they're a bit short. Whether they make the top four this year, it's going to be tight for them. I wouldn't want to bet against Tottenham, but I'd probably, as you say, if I was forced to pick a result, I'd probably go with a draw.
Harry, what do you make of a Ronaldo? Because everybody was looking at the weekend, 72 minutes, he comes off shaking his head, and you've been on that touchline where you had to make decisions whether you're going to make substitutions. Well, how do you deal with that if as a manager? People come on. Look, you want to see people want to stay on the pitch and want to play the game, but does that upset anybody if that happens?
Well, it ain't good when you're the manager and, you got the crowd off, and he's sort of walking off and, showing everybody that he's very, very unhappy with the decision. I think you really want him on side as your main man at the football club. You need him to say, okay, fine, the manager's made a decision. I'm not happy, but I'll jog off and talk to him about it later. So, it puts you in a difficult position for sure. No, listen, he's an incredible player. One of the, if not the best player in the we've ever seen, or certainly in the top 2 or 3. So, but I do think that he's, when he behaves like that, it makes things a bit difficult.
Yeah, I wanted to put to you some comments that Cass was talking about this week. He was writing in the Times, and he was saying that he finds Spurs to be a bit of a difficult watch. Do you know where he's coming from? How do you feel when you watch them?
Well, I suppose what he's saying, Laura, they're not exciting. They're not exciting. He's not. You watch Arsenal at the moment, I know, and you look at the two wingers, the way they play, and how exciting they are, and the movement of football is fantastic. But Tottenham, they just keep getting results. Conte's got a team there that is set them up to be hard to beat first and foremost, but also knows that he's got goals in the team in Son and Kane that can hit teams on the break. They'll soak up pressure. You look at the midfield; they're not full of flair players in midfield. They've got people that do the hard yards and get results. That's the way they're going to do it. But that's if at the end of the year they end up winning a title or winning a cup or being in the top 4 again, then who can argue about what they've done? Conte's obviously doing a fantastic job there.
And another good game tonight, Bournemouth v Southampton. Harry, who you must be keeping an eye on Bournemouth. What a job!
Absolutely,
Gary O'Neill's done. I mean, no one expected.
Done smashing.
Yeah, and he's getting results. And Southampton obviously need a result as well. So this should be a cracking game.
Yeah, local derby. Right, and Gary's done a great job there since he's took over Scott, and sort of steadied the ship, not unbeaten, and playing some good football. They've been good to watch. I enjoy going to the games, and I don't see any reason he can't get the job there. I mean, what's he supposed to do? He's took over, and no one could have done any better than what he's done as a caretaker. So I think he's ready to step up in the management now, Gary O'Neill.
I wanted to also ask you about another game that's tonight. Liverpool hosting West Ham, and after on the back of such a big win against Manchester City, there's been so much going on in the press and so many reactions to things that wasn't necessarily the actual match footage. I just wanted to know, Harry, from your perspective as a former manager, how Klopp now, because he's been accused of borderline xenophobic comments, he's got a ban potentially coming his way as well, which he's got a little bit of time. I think it's till Friday to respond to, so he'll be on the touchline tonight. There's a lot going on there, isn't there? How do Liverpool try to just focus on the football and try and build on what they did against Man City?
Well, it's always different. You knew I certainly knew the weekend that they would I couldn't see Liverpool getting beat the weekend, Laura, before the game. I really felt they would get a result with that out of that game. I mean, there's nowhere in the country for me. The atmosphere at Anfield is just special. Unbelievable, wasn't it? And that crowd behind them, I knew they'd give Man City all they could handle on Sunday, and which they did. But now they say they've got to lift themselves again. Tough game. West Ham, a tough opposition. Yeah. You wouldn't choose West Ham to play tonight, but again, it's going to be a tight game. I wouldn't like to pick a winner. I think West Ham go to with a real chance at the moment.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask your thoughts on managers' behaviour, because the spotlight is on them at the moment. Jurgen Klopp was the 5th manager this season to get a red card and to be sent off. Do managers need to look at this behaviour and behave better? Is there a lack of respect towards officials that needs to be addressed? Harsher punishments, for example?
Yeah, I think so, Laura. I think it has gone a bit over the top for sure. And who would want to be the 4th official? I mean, what can he do about it? He's just there to be battered by both managers for 90 minutes. I mean, how would you want his job standing there and having them both coming at you? What can he do about what's going on? It's an impossible job he's got. I wouldn't want that for all the money in the world. But no, I think they've got to show a bit. Set a better example than what they are at the moment. I think he's gone a bit crazy. Yeah. Just calm down. Watch the game and concentrate on the game.
You know what it's like though, Harry. You do get a little bit in it. I know you've had a little punch up with certain managers, especially in them charity games, Harry. What one was it? You told me that one. That was who was that? Oh, Kenny Dalglish, was it?
Yeah, me and Kenny had a row over because I subbed Craig David. Put Gareth Gates on, and then I took Gareth Gates off again after about 2 minutes. He was struggling he struggled to breathe, and I put Craig David on, and Kenny got the ump and started giving me abuse, because you're not allowed to put somebody on who's come off already. And then, oh dear, we had the biggest argument. It was crazy at Wembley in front of 78,000 people.
All down to Craig David, unbelievable.
Yeah. What was that song he sung? Never on whatever.
7 days, 7 subs. Right, Harry, we'll let you go. Thank you very much for coming on this morning.
Nice to talk to you guys.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.